What's going on, guys? My name is Lubcubs, and welcome back to another video on the channel, guys. Today we are doing another block talk, and I'm joined once again with T. How's it going, my guy?
It's going great, dude. How you doing?
I am doing good. Today we are talking about hobbies and all things about them. I think between us, we have enough.
I believe we do. So it'll be interesting to chat about them. Maybe we can learn a little something about each other. So let's do this.
All right. Before we actually start today, guys, T has been working hard on setting up a Spotify account with our podcast called Game Wave the Podcast. So I'll leave a link down in the description for you guys to go check that out. Versus if you guys don't, want to watch a video while listening to us talk, then you can just pull it up on your phone and listen to it that way. So it's been a little bit since we chatted last. Took a bit of a break. I think it's been a week and a half.
Yes, it has. And oh my goodness, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your this. What are they called? The traveling traders.
Wandering trader.
Wandering traders. Oh no! I accidentally hit a freaking iron golem.
Oh, you're screwed.
So done. Anyhow, so yeah, it's been a little while. I didn't upload one of the videos and the podcast, and then we had a little quirk with our podcast streaming service. Decided to well, that's why we're with Spotify now.
Yeah,
we'll go with that.
Our channel got deleted for whatever reasons that are unknown,
did.
and support on Spreaker isn't very good.
On Spreaker is not very good, so our channel got entirely wiped, and all the podcasts that were on there are gone. But I do have backups, so they're going to get slowly uploaded to Spotify just to not look like spam, I guess.
For all the amount of effort you're putting in on this, it's kind of like a hobby or something.
You'd think so, right? You think podcasting is a little bit of a hobby, and it kind of is. That is one of my hobbies. Is I do enjoy podcasting. For those that didn't know this, where I'm sitting now, my desk is on the opposite side. It's almost a control station for my podcast set. I have a little studio here, and there's a little podcast set here that I do an in-house podcast with another person as well. And that one is entirely different. I'm not going to promote that on this channel.
Oh, but, promote it.
It's called sure, why not? It's called Random Rewind. It's on every streaming service. It too is through Spreaker, but I'm going to be switching that very shortly because of the experience I've had with our podcast, and that's not cool. So I'm going to be switching. But there's I think 27 episodes on there for Random Rewind, and it's a hobby because it doesn't make any money. Like if it makes a little bit of money, sure, but it doesn't make you enough to be a paycheck.
Right.
Then it's a job, right?
And I mean, even when a hobby becomes a paycheck, it's still a bit of a hobby for me. I mean, it would be a dream to be able just to sit back and chat with you and call that a job.
Oh, absolutely, dude.
I mean, I doubt it's ever going to happen, and it'd be a dream to have YouTube be that successful.
I'm not doubting it'll ever happen. I think it will happen. It'll happen shortly. And no, just kidding, I don't know. I honestly don't know. We talked about the YouTube algorithm and how that works, and the podcast world is a little bit different in the sense that we don't have as much competition as we do on YouTube, even with just gaming in itself. So we'll probably have a little more luck, should we say, on the podcast platform, even though that's not technically the goal altogether. Right now I'm just having a good time, just shooting the breeze, so to speak. So if it does become anything, cool. If it doesn't become anything, also cool. I don't care either way. I'm having a good time.
That's exactly how I feel. Oh, I lost
exactly.
Yeah, so I mean, aside from our podcast, we have other gaming related hobbies. I mean, we each run a gaming YouTube channel, which these videos are being uploaded to, and Game Wave, our secondary channel, which we both kind of are slacking at uploading to.
Oh yeah, I know. It's almost kind of sad at this point. I think we got a notice on our Gmail account talking about inactivity.
Really? No, I gotta upload there. I gotta upload.
You gotta upload something. I think we gotta upload a short or something on there just to be active.
Well, I recorded a what do you call it? Polybridge episode about a month and a half ago, and that's when I first noticed my editing software was getting really buggy.
Oh right.
So I couldn't use the footage, and I just like kind of gave up on editing. But now that I've hopefully worked out the kinks, finger crossed.
Yeah, I think we got it figured out. I mean, we did a little testing before this with audio, and I think we got Lucas's audio all dialed in. At least I hope so.
Audio is working good. Hopefully, I'm just still skeptical on the video. I'm hoping it's not a computer problem and it was just a software problem.
Yeah, that's a hobby of my son's actually. He loves building I'd say computers, but he likes building keyboards.
Really?
Like specifically loves like buying different keys and different keycaps and different bases and building custom keyboards. He really enjoys it.
Does he get into like the artistic side of it? Is he like coloring keys and painting them at all or anything?
No, but he does 3D print some like custom stuff, and then we
Okay.
have because I was in prop making, I have mold cast stuff to make molds,
Yeah.
and he makes his own molds, and he's been wanting to do like custom keys with custom little stuff inside of them in the mold because we bought a mold for keys specifically,
Okay.
as well as like die. He likes making die and stuff like that. He likes making like the D&D dice and stuff like that.
Yes, that's
as well.
cool.
Yeah. So yeah. That's his little passion as well as video making. But as far as I go, do you have any like winter? I know you went skiing with Pat a few years ago.
Oh,
Is that something you would consider a hobby or just something you do every once in a?
I wouldn't consider it anything. The first time I ever went skiing,
Yeah.
40 minutes into it, I cartwheeled down the mountain and broke my ankle.
You what?
I cartwheeled down the mountain. My ski caught at the edge as I
Yeah.
was turning, and my body was like, "No, I'm gonna keep going, man." And yeah,
You were done.
I went head over heels, and I literally cartwheeled. My cousin said it looked like a scene from a cartoon.
That's awesome.
She comes sliding or skiing down and laughing, and I'm just there. Like, I wasn't crying, but I was just like, I can't move. My foot's in pain. I couldn't. She tried to get me to stand up, and I couldn't put any pressure on it. That was the most embarrassing experience of my life. The ski patrol had to come, and then they put me on a toboggan that I barely fit on because I've always been a big guy. And they tobogganed me down to the bottom of the hill.
That's freaking awesome.
And then
My God, I would pay good money to see this, Lucas.
they put me in a freaking back room. They kept me on the bed. Ambulance shows up, and they're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
we're gonna take. It's probably not broken. We're probably just a fracture, maybe a bad sprain. We'll take him to the hospital because my parents aren't answering their phone. They're lovely people. They're half an hour or 45-minute drive from the ski hill that they just dropped us off at, and they were doing
wow.
groceries. So
Of course.
they're like, yeah, what's the worst that can happen? They left their phone in the car. They're trying to call them, so the ambulance takes me to the hospital. But the problem is, I'm 6'2". Okay, I was 6'2" when this happened.
Okay.
Stretchers are 6 feet long.
Oh, so you're just hanging off the end.
My ankle was hanging off the end.
The part that hurts.
The part that hurts and the part that was supposedly broken. So my broken ankle was just hanging off the stretcher, bouncing on this uncomfortable ambulance ride.
Oh, wow. That's freaking awesome.
So I may have broke it on the hill. It may have also been the ambulance ride that broke it. I don't really know. So, okay, that was my first experience skiing. My second experience with kind of skiing was with Pat in Colorado. He's like, yo, I want to go to Colorado with some girls I know and Ethan and you and Evelyn. I'm like, okay, why? He's like, well, we want to go skiing there. I'm like, dude, I don't ski. Last time I went skiing, I broke my ankle. He's like, it's fine. I'm like, okay, fine.
It's fine.
He flew us down to Colorado, and
Yeah.
we were there for 6 days. We went to the ski hill one day because the girls we were with were kind of crazy and didn't want to do anything.
Not good crazy? Like,
No.
not fun crazy.
No, annoying crazy. Really annoying crazy. And they barely wanted to leave, do anything aside from, shopping or, I don't know, hang out at the house, whatever. So we went skiing one day. The hill closed at 10 o'clock. We got there at 6 o'clock. And instead of getting skis and going...
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. It's dark at 5 now. So I think the hill closed at 8 o'clock. until the nighttime skiing started, and we were only there for the daytime or whatever.
Okay.
I don't know all the details. That was like
Sure.
5 years ago, 4 years ago.
It was a while
It
ago.
was a
Yeah.
while ago. And we get there, and they're like, "Oh, we want to check out all the shops first." I'm like, "Okay, there's not much time left for skiing already." So we have to go around and check out all the little shops in the ski area.
Oh, good.
Finally, an hour before the skiing closes, they're like, "Okay, let's go." So we go skiing, and we have to go rent our boots and everything. We are
Uh-huh.
rushing to get through it. They're taking their sweet time. Finally, with half an hour left, they start to go to the mountain. Well, we get to the ski hill, and the person who's operating it is like, "You can't bring any valuables or anything here, or bags or anything up." And
Okay.
these girls have purses and bags and all these things, and they're like, "Well, we can't get rid of them. We can't leave them here." I'm like, "Okay." So Evelyn and I stayed at the bottom of the hill
Oh
to
no.
hold all the
You guys
bags.
watched all their stuff while they skied?
Yeah. Well,
Shut the hell up. No, you didn't.
well, they tried to ski. I didn't really like skiing. It was really painful for me, so I was like, I didn't really mind that much. But,
Okay.
oh yeah, I wouldn't call skiing a hobby for me. But
Okay. I'm gonna go with no as well.
have you done any kind of skiing or snowboarding or anything?
Yeah, we go like I don't know, a dozen times a year.
Okay.
We go up to we have close mountains to us. Like the closest mountain to us is called Mountain High. It's about I want to say a 45-minute drive, right?
Yeah.
But it's always ice. It's not very good, so we never really go there. There's a closer mountain, a little further mountain than that. It's a 2-hour drive. It's called Big Bear, and I don't care for it. It's really windy to get up there, and it's super crowded. Like always, always, always super crowded. So it's not a lot of fun. So we drive 6 hours to the north. We go to Mammoth Mountain, and that is a fantastic time every single time. It's never not been, and enjoy it to this very day. And we go as often as we can. It is expensive. It's getting more and more expensive as the years go by for the lodging. The lodging is just ridiculous
Right.
up there, you know. But other than that, it's a lot of fun. We really enjoy it. We go as often as we can. The kids, I think, are having a good time. At least we hope so.
Well, you
I've been
say
snowboarding.
as
Go
often
ahead.
as you can. Do you mean like is it an all year round thing?
So Mammoth Mountain is open usually from right now. It just opening weekend it was this last weekend, and it runs through like last year it ran through July,
Oh wow.
so it stays open most of the year.
Is it
Uh,
fake snow?
it's blown snow on some of it, but no, they had the largest snow base
Okay.
in the longest time. I think it was something like I don't know, it was like 50 feet or something like that. It was insane.
Cool.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of snow. So, yeah. Last year was a really good time. We had a really good time snowboarding last year, but it was really hard too because then you have to deal with all the excess snow in the village areas, and then it becomes hard to get around. Like we have a 4-wheel drive, so it's not a big deal. But yeah,
Me with my
it's
Beetle
one of
would
our
struggle.
your Beetle would struggle for damn sure. Yeah, we help out a lot of people that get stuck quite often. So I have all my little tow gear and stuff like that in the back of the car in case we have to help somebody out. We've had to a few times. So that's like one of my most enjoyable I say wintertime hobbies because we obviously we don't go very often during the summer, but every once in a while we try to.
Right. Okay. Well, that's a nice little hobby. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say I have any real winter hobbies. It's kind of my more boring time of year. Um, when I was in high school, my buddy lived on a farm and had four wheelers.
Oh
So
yeah.
we would often go to his farm and we would just four wheel all around on his farm through the like field. And he actually had like maple trees like in a bush at the back. So they had like a
Okay.
shack. So we had to go back there. We'd have a big bonfire and camp out in this shack that got to like negative 20 degrees because I wouldn't get out of
Oh,
bed at 4 a.m. because it was my turn to put wood on the fire.
yeah. Yeah.
But
That sounds nuts.
if I could,
Uh
like, if I was in a place that actually allowed me to do four wheeling kind of easier, I would totally get
yeah.
like a four wheeler for Ev and I. And
When
do
you
trips
say
like
four
that.
wheeler, do you mean like a quad or do you mean like a Jeep?
Like a quad ATV.
Okay, got it. Like the Razors or Treks or all those other things that everybody's got now.
Razors are a lot larger.
They're a lot bigger. Yeah,
Yeah.
like one of my buddies has a turbocharged one. That thing is massive. I mean, the requirement to even haul that thing around is a pain in the you know what.
Right.
Yeah, but it's I mean it's a good time. We used to go off roading. When we had the Hummer down here, we used to go off roading quite often when we lived in the old town we lived in before we moved to Washington.
Yeah.
There were a lot of trails where we lived, and the snow level was really low. So snow would come down to almost our house every year. It was really nice. So we'd go take the trails when they're all muddy and sloshy and whatnot, and go off roading, and it was a blast. So, but we haven't done that in years because after I broke the Hummer for the last time before it was just out of warranty, I'm like, no,
Right.
it's too expensive of a sport to keep breaking the freaking Hummer.
You and I talked about this once, like I think it was a year ago. It would be an awesome hobby, like to get into off-roading properly. It's expensive, but I would love to do it.
Oh, I'd love to do it. I mean, to properly do it, like we have friends that do, like they have their Jeeps. One of my buddies has the new Bronco. It's broken like 5 times already. It's such a poorly built car. But the like Jeeps are great, are well built specifically for off-roading. And people build them up. Obviously, my neighbors have 2 of them. They're probably in their driveway is probably sitting $200,000 in Jeeps.
Wow.
Just the amount of crap they've added onto them. But they're road queens. They don't take them off road ever. They look pretty. They are prepared to go freaking overlanding, but they're not going to do it because that's just not them.
That's just sad.
It is. It's just these Jeeps are just sitting in their driveway, but it is what it is. Whatever. I don't care. It's not my money. I don't really give a crap. You know?
Right.
But the other cars that like do really well are Toyotas and good old Subarus. I've seen some Subarus do some crazy off-roading, and they do really, really well. And then for like on the cheaper end, and people don't really think about them because they think they're expensive. They're older though, like say an 08 to 2011 Porsche Cayenne. And everybody's like, why would you get a Porsche? It's expensive. No, they're not. Number one, because they're old. So there's parts for them at the junkyard all day long. 2, they're a V8. So they've got a really big freaking engine. And it's got height adjustment built into it.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Built-in front and rear lockers. So you're ready to go off-road. And this thing is it's made for off-roading. And they're inexpensive. If you look them up, you can get them for inexpensive relatively. You can get them for around $10,000 for an off-road rig that's ready to go.
Right.
Pretty awesome.
No, for sure. I mean, off-roading,
You know what I mean?
it's expensive. I mean, I've been watching Matt's off-road recovery for a few months now, and
Yeah.
they do a lot of custom stuff, and it's a lot of expensive stuff, especially the people that they rescue. There's a lot of money tied up into it.
Oh, I know. There's this TikTok that pops up every once in a while. This guy that goes camping in the rain. He puts out all of his gear going camping in the rain, right? The super expensive car, and then he pulls out like $100,000 in gear. You know, it's like you're glamping at this point. You're not even camping anymore.
Oh, there's the argument. I mean, if you're not in a house,
I don't mind it. I don't get me wrong. I don't mind glamping. I think glamping is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But you can't call that camping.
But then people who use tent trailers will say people who use 30-foot trailers aren't
not
camping.
camping.
People who are in tents say
I don't think they
people
are.
in tent trailers aren't camping. People who camp under the stars say people who use tents aren't camping. I mean,
I think anybody in any kind of tent is camping. I think anybody in a vehicle that has walls and insulation is renting a moving hotel room.
no, I think it's all camping. You're living in the lands, whether it's you're living I don't want to say fancy,
Sure.
but
Fancy camping versus not fancy camping?
I get it's all camping and you're enjoying it, but there's always going to be people arguing that, oh, you're not
That's
camping,
true.
you're doing something else. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of it is not camping. I just think some of it is glamping versus camping. It's definitely one versus the other because you can't you can't call one of it truly like you're not roughing it.
Right.
You know what I mean? By any means. But I don't want to rough it. I want a hotel room if I had the option. Quite honestly, I don't care.
I mean,
And I love the outdoors, but I still want a hotel room.
my family and I grew up. Well, I guess I grew up on camping. We used to start with tents when we were younger, and then it turned
Yeah.
into a tent trailer, and we used that for many
Yeah.
years. And then it turned into a seasonal, like 30-foot long, very old trailer. So it
Okay.
didn't have much fancy stuff in it. But then after about 3 years of that, maybe 5 years of that, my dad got my parents got a 30-foot long tow behind trailer with pop outs, and it was gorgeous.
Like a proper trailer.
Yeah. And
Is it like the fifth wheel kind that goes in the bed of the truck, or
No.
the kind that goes on a hitch?
on a hitch.
Okay.
So it wasn't that fancy, but it was still big upgrade compared to what we had.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun. I mean, you can go to any campground you want, and it was kind of like luxury because you were in different places, you had access to different bodies of water, different scenic areas, and you could still be comfortable when you were sleeping. My mother had, after my mom's cancer, and her treatment, she struggled with dampness. It would get right to her bones.
Oh,
So
I see.
having the option to have like a nicer insulated trailer was good for her.
Got it. I hear you. Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, it's sometimes you can't. It's not something you can do anymore.
Yeah.
So I understand why people do it. I don't know.
My
Each his own, man.
a couple of buddies I was in Venturers for 1 year. 1 year. A friend of mine. So Venturers is like scouts for older people. I think you're above the age of 15.
Okay.
And you're in Venturers. At least that's what it is here in Ontario.
Okay. So it's like Boy Scouts.
It's like Boy Scouts, but for older kids. Because we have Boy Scouts here. It's just
Boy Scouts are the older kids.
So what is one below that?
Then you have like Weebles. And
Okay.
They have different levels of Boy Scout.
Gotcha. So
Yeah. Anyway.
we were in Ventures. I only did it because I was friends with a guy who was a year older than me. So he went off to high school. I was still in elementary school. And he's like, come do Ventures, then we can still hang out. I'm like, okay, fine. And this was camping like in the winter time. So you actually have to go and set up your tent in the bush in a bunch of snow. It sucked. I hated it. But they also convinced me to do backcountry camping where you have to like go on a canoe.
Yeah.
So that was...
Oh, you got to take a canoe.
We took a canoe, and we had to... What's it called when you have to like carry your canoe over land?
I don't know. Overlanding?
No, there's a term for it, but we had to like canoe for half an hour.
Work?
It's a lot of work. We had like 5 days or a week's worth of rations and food and gear and the canoe. So we had to like carry all this stuff with a canoe on our backs over this. Portaging. That's it.
I've never heard of that term ever in my life.
All right. Well, you had to do that. And then we had like a 45-minute or an hour canoe ride. Then we had a portage. Then we had another half an hour canoe till we got to a camping area.
Okay.
And it was really it was rough camping. I mean, we were on rough land. We had to set up this tent. We had to hang our food from trees. Otherwise the wildlife would get to it.
Yeah.
That is some diehard camping.
That's some proper camping right there.
And my buddies...
And no thank you, by the way.
No thank you.
No thank you.
My buddies talk about wanting to do it again. I'm like, yeah, I could do it again, I guess.
I'm good. I'm a hard pass on any of that. That doesn't sound like a good time to me. I mean, it's beautiful. I love nature. I think it's very pretty. But if I can't drive to it anymore, I'm so over it.
Right.
I don't mind hikes. Like we'll take like long trails, especially when we were up in Washington. There's so many beautiful trails up there that we would go for an actual hike. And I love that. But if you're telling me that we've got to travel for a day before we get to our destination, the words pound sand come to mind. Not a
Uh,
chance in hell. I'm good. Hard pass, dude. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm good. I don't like being dirty anymore. I'm
right.
too old for that crap. I want to be clean and good. And the
You want
guys
to
that like,
glamp.
I do want to glamp, but I don't want to glamp. Does that make any sense? Because I'd rather just stay in a hotel room at that point.
Right.
You know,
I
like
mean,
it almost
it used to
takes
make
away from the fact. Yeah.
it used to make sense because a campsite for a trailer hookup was $50 a night, whereas a
Yeah, but not
hotel was
anymore.
$100. Now you go to a campground, you want electrical hookup and sewage, you're
Yeah.
$120 a night. You can go to get a freaking
Oh,
hotel room.
we had a what do you call it? We have a place over here that we went camping in. We went tent camping because we weren't going to rent a trailer, right? So the previous one we went to, we rented a trailer. This one we went to, it's in Newport Beach, which that should tell you a lot. I mean, you're not from California, so you don't know.
No.
Newport Beach is super high end, right?
Okay.
So it's this campground in Newport Beach, on the beach. It's on the water, and if you want a trailer hookup with connections, is $1,100 a night.
No, it's not.
It's $1,100 a night.
Gosh.
We paid $400 for a campsite to put a tent on.
I guess
That's what we did.
The experience of that area, like a touristy thing.
It's not really. It's like the average people that go camping, they like that area. That's like their go-to spot. Like we have these campsites in California called the KOA. I don't know if you guys have them up there.
We do, actually.
Yeah, so they're all over the place, right? And we enjoy staying the one down in San Diego because it's like it's almost to Mexico. You can see the Tijuana flag that's so massive flying overhead, which is really freaking cool. Like it's not far off from where we're camping, right?
Okay.
And it's really close to the water. You can walk to the beach. It's not on the beach. But it's the same people that go camping there that go camping at that place as well. So it's not a different crowd. It's not like it's a touristy crowd.
And would hotels in that area be just as expensive?
No, you can get a hotel room for probably $200-$300.
Yeah, so that doesn't make much sense then.
Right. So it's just for the sake of saying you went camping at the beach, I suppose.
Right.
That's all I can imagine it's for. But to each his own. People enjoy it. That's their thing. I don't really care. I'm not one to crap on someone's fun, But
Just not your thing.
I'll just not anymore. I'm good. I'm good with not paying that much anymore for freaking what do you call it? For camping. It's ridiculous.
Yep, that makes
It's
sense.
bad enough we pay how much we pay just for hotel rooms to stay in Mammoth.
Oh, that's
You know what I
crazy
mean?
too.
Yeah, I mean, our average stay when we go for a weekend, on average, is anywhere between, if it's on the early end of the season, we're about $600 for the weekend. Towards the peak portion of the season, we're at $1,000.
I don't know if there is a peak portion or non-peak portion here. Tourist season in like Niagara Falls, it's probably higher in the summer, but I just like hockey's a big thing here. So as soon as hockey starts, there's hockey tournaments every weekend. So every hotel jacks their prices up for the weekends because 50 people need a hotel room.
Yeah, because you guys have the Maple Leafs there, right?
Well, that's just the like NHL, the hockey season
you're talking about hockey for like minor league stuff.
Yeah,
as well.
minor like kids, people who are freaking like they start at like 5 years old now.
Oh right, yeah. Hockey clubs they're super expensive. Like we had our cousin, he played hockey when he was younger, and my aunt said that on average she spent like $20,000 a year putting him through hockey.
It's crazy.
That's insane. But I mean, hey, you know what? If that's your love in life, then you do you, dude. You do what you can for your kids, I suppose.
I guess so, yeah. Evelyn wants to like she's been big into figure skating her whole life.
Oh yeah.
And she wants to do it again, but
yeah,
it's $10,000 to $20,000 for a season.
Oh, to actually
to get onto a
professionally?
Team. Yeah.
Oh wow.
And
that sounds insane.
Her it was fine when she was a kid because
yeah,
her parents covered it.
But now she's got to cover it.
Yeah, now that we're covering, it's like we can't even afford $200 a season. Like,
you're right.
It's
it gets expensive, man.
Yeah, and I'd love to be able to just be like, yeah, I'd love for you to do that. I mean, it's a great hobby,
It is,
but
and especially if it's something that she loves. But maybe one day this hobby of ours right here will help afford something like that.
yes, I really hope so.
Those luxuries. You know what I mean? We're gonna call those luxuries as
Right.
hobbies.
Um,
Oh,
so other
so
summer hobbies, you have a boat that you go up with in
oh
Washington,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So we used to use it out here. We had friends that we'd go to. The closest big lake. We have a lake here in town, but it's crap. So the closest big lake we have to us is called Lake Havasu,
Okay.
and the Colorado River cuts right through the middle of it, and it's really freaking awesome. So we'd go with friends every year, and we'd go and we would drive. We would ride up the river about an hour and a half to a destination called Pirate Cove, and we would just hang out there all freaking day long and just chill with friends and having beverages and relaxing with the kids, having a good time and whatnot in the water. It was a whole lot of fun. We decided after our friends moved, they moved to Colorado,
Yep.
and so we decided to we didn't have any more friends to go with anymore, and it's really more fun when you have somebody else to go with, especially there. We decided that we were going to ship our boat to Washington,
Okay.
and we have a house up there. My mother-in-law lives up there, so we stay up there, and when every summer we go up, we take the boat out.
Nice.
And there are amazing lakes in Washington, so it's always a good time.
Did you ever go out in the ocean? I mean, California is right on the
Oh,
coast, right?
so our oceans here are a little sketch. They're rough. The waters are rough, and the waters are cold here. Not that they're not cold in Washington. They're freaking ice cold in Washington. But the lakes that we go to are not. They're not freezing. But the ocean out there, when we take it to this marina, and we kind of just putter around the marina. And we go into open water a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not choppy like it is here.
Oh, okay.
So I don't feel as sketch as I do here. Like we go to we have the Long Beach Harbor here, but you're traveling between like cruise ships and freight ships and everything else. And yeah, not a good time altogether.
Right.
Ooh, I found a what do you call it? Uh, I should probably break this. A desert temple.
Oh, nice. I do not explore that often.
I just decided to today because I got nothing to do.
I grew up a lot on boating. My dad is really into fishing, really into boating. He grew up on Georgian Bay, so it's kind of like
Oh,
a
okay.
big body of water here in Ontario,
Sure.
and that's cool. I mean,
So you went out with him or no? Not so much.
I used to go out quite a bit with him. I still go out with him sometimes. I
Okay.
like the activity of boating. I'm not huge into
Okay.
fishing, and that's what he's really into.
That's what my dad was into. He loved fishing. And so he'd take me fishing. We'd go like every Sunday, but it was just to hang out with my dad really, but I didn't really care for it. You know
Right.
what I mean? And we did a lot of camping growing up, and that's probably why I don't care for it now as much as I did then. We did a lot. Like we went camping all the freaking time, and we went proper tent camping. So we were filthy, you know. So
Filthy
it was
animals.
yeah, we're filthy, filthy animals. It was okay. I mean, I enjoyed it for the time being. I don't like I said, I don't care for it anymore as much. We've taken the kids a few times, but I don't know. I don't. It's just not my cup of tea anymore, and I just don't enjoy it like I used to, I suppose. Or maybe I don't enjoy it like my parents did.
Right.
You know?
I would love to go out and just like, I don't know. If I had money, if money was no object, I'd have
Yeah,
like a speedboat or a big yacht or something like that, where either A, I could have fun on the water and kind of like
yes,
just fly through the water and cut through
sure,
waves and stuff like that, right? Or
yeah,
I could kind of like camp on the water or glamp on the water, where I had a kitchenette, I had a bathroom. You could have like a bed or something like that where you could actually sleep. You get anchor, and you can jump off the boat. You can swim. You can suntan. You can hang out, listen to music, whatever. Those would be my two kind of boating.
that is what we do on our little boat. It's not a big boat. It's not a super fast boat, but it is a. I can get it to like 50 knots.
Yeah.
and it does, it hauls butt, and then we pull the kids around, and we just chill and relax at parts of the lake, and it's a good time. It really is a good time. I just realized I'm in modded Minecraft. I found the most amazing Mesa village I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, I wish I could share the screen with you right now.
I'll
It
have to
is
watch.
it is absolutely beautiful. There's an alley flying around,
An LA.
and I've never seen one before in the game other than once, like if I had to spawn one in. This is the most beautiful freaking Mesa village I have ever seen. It is so freaking cool. Sorry, I had to share because just wow. Yeah, I'm gonna make this into a short.
You can make it a short out of the podcast. Nice.
I am gonna make this little segment here into a short. This is absolutely stunning. Hey, little LA, how you doing, homie? I don't know what to give you. I forget. What do we give them?
The purple
Tame them.
shards.
Oh, those are all at home. I'm like miles away from home.
Amethyst shards, that's it.
Amethyst shards. Yeah, I've got a bunch of those at home, but I can't. I'm not gonna go back. This is freaking cool. Anyway,
Yeah, so also with like I've always wanted to do this, but my dad
What's
never wants to let me do it. I mean, I'd love to get into wakeboarding,
oh yeah, we've got a
but
few.
based on my clutchiness and the fact that I broke an ankle half an hour into skiing, he's skeptical of letting me do something like that.
I don't blame him.
But I really want to learn to do it, and I think it'd be a lot of fun.
It's very challenging. We've tried to get the kids up on boards a few times, and it doesn't always end well. So so we don't take the wake. We try to take the wakeboards with us every once in a while. They like it, but they don't love it. So they're like, nah, we like it, but we don't. If you could not, then I'd rather not, type of thing.
Right.
They'd rather just not go wakeboarding at all if we don't bring it. So they're okay with that.
So you're saying the only chance I have at wakeboarding is to
No, you have
fly
a
to
great chance.
Washington and have
I'll
you
put
take
you on
me.
I'll stick you on a board.
Oh, perfect.
I'll stick you on a board, homie. I got you.
Awesome. That's all I need.
Yeah, I got you. Anytime you like.
Perfect.
Anytime you like.
Might be a little chilly right now.
It might be a little. Right now is going to be a no-go. That thing is winterized for a reason. Yeah, I've drained all the water out of the lines. That thing just got like little dryers inside of it. It is not going anywhere for a while. I'm not going up there for a while either. Too
makes
damn
sense.
cold. I don't know how you do it.
I don't know either. I miss Florida.
I miss Florida.
I
don't know about all
wish
that.
we had an option in Canada to move somewhere where it was freaking cold as it would
Warm?
be. It was like 10 degrees Celsius.
I guess, yeah, that wouldn't be bad.
I would be happy with that being the coldest temperature. That
Oh,
said,
man.
if I could, if I had a lot of money, one of my hobbies would be driving because I love drifting. So
I love drifting. I used to know this guy. His name is Jack Mack. He was a drift car racer, I guess, but he
Okay.
had his own show on. Oh shoot, what channel was it? I cannot remember. I don't know. It was one of those like offbeat channels, but it was a actual network channel, and he had his own show. It was kind of like, have you ever seen that show Pimp My Ride?
yes, that is such an
Okay,
old
so
show.
So it's just like that, except it's for like race cars,
Okay.
not for like show cars, which that shows. I don't know if you call those show cars, but yeah, he did it. He built like these race cars. Like he would take people's old rides and he would make them better. And so he hired me years ago to build his website when I was that was what I did for a living, was build websites. And we got to be friends. And he's a really chill individual. But I haven't talked to him for a minute. But he races drift cars professionally.
That's so cool. That is someone you need to make contact with again.
I still have his number in my phone. I'm sure it's the same.
That would be honestly, if I had a way to do it and money was no object, that would be the dream kind of career for me. Would be like stunt car driving of some sort.
Stunt car driving would be a blast. That would be seriously a lot of fun to do. The thing I wanted to do growing up was I wanted to build a rally car. I've always wanted to build a rally car, and that to me is it's so expensive to do. It's not. Again, we're talking about super expensive things,
Yeah.
right? Rally cars are not cheap to build. The amount of just welding you have to do, the sheer amount of welding you have to do to the body of the car makes it what's so damn expensive, you know?
Yeah.
Nope.
And then,
Okay.
like, I mean, I watched Donut Media kind of do a video on.
I love Donut
I
Media.
watch every
That's like
video.
my favorite freaking.
If you're a car
they're
guy,
like-
you're watching Donut Media.
and they're like right here in Inglewood, you know.
Oh, you're
it's really freaking.
you're
cool.
so close to like everyone cool.
I don't know about all that, but we have a lot of really cool individuals nearby. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So I watched a video of one of theirs where they actually competed in a professional race,
Yes, I saw that one just recently. I
and
saw that.
it's $100,000 just to get into the freaking race.
Just to get your license.
Well, that's just the license, but you have to like pay a fee to get into the race as well.
Oh yeah, and it varies. So the fee also changes depending on how many times you win too.
Right.
So if you win a lot the previous year, you end up having to pay more the following year, which makes sense. You end up making money from those wins, but still, it's an expensive freaking sport, man.
And you're paying for like there's always tons of damage done to the car after every single race. You're paying for new parts all the time, body work all the time.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely, dude. There's nothing cheap about that sport.
No, but that would be the coolest and the best hobby I would ever.
I think it'd be
want.
such a good time. I want to build cars too. Like I'd love to just build cars again. I used to build them back in the day, but not like race cars. I used to build like show cars, which is also an expensive sport. I think. I mean, the amount of money I dumped into my little Honda, your eyes would bug out if I told you.
Oh
So,
no!
yeah, it's just absolutely not. Dude, this village is so freaking cool, man. I'm sorry, I have to.
I've
reiterate that.
I've never personally kind of worked on cars enough to actually know how to do it, but I want to get an old classic car and work on restoring it. Kind of like learn on how to do it by just doing
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, I mean that's how I figured it out. Like, hi, Chauncey and Liam came in here and they're wearing shark onesies. And oh, no, Liam is what is that? Totoro. You know what Totoro is? The anime.
No.
Okay, and Chauncey came in dressed as a stormtrooper in a stormtrooper onesie.
That's classy.
Yeah, love you guys. Oh, my family. Oh, I love it. Where was I at? Sorry. Learning cars. Yeah. So, my dad didn't teach me how to like work on cars because we didn't have like a whole lot of money growing up.
Yeah.
You know, and again, cars can be expensive. And when I finally got my license, I decided at that point that I really wanted to pursue that. And I put every extra penny that I ever had into building a car. And it turned out cool. The car ended up in magazines, you know?
Oh, really?
So that was really cool.
You've never told me this. You need to show me that if you can find a picture of it.
Oh, yeah. No, I have one right here. You don't think I have that?
Send it to me. I'm gonna I'll put it in my video so I can remember that.
All right, yeah. I have the photo right here. It's a physical photo.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I'll take a picture of it and send it to you. I just learned by like gutting my very first car, like engine, everything, all the way, like pulling everything out to have it painted, and then doing body work. I ended up working at a body shop for a little while just to learn body work, how that worked, and just like you said, just learn by hands-on, figuring it out, and it's a good time. I absolutely, probably one of the most fun things of my childhood was figuring out that cars are more fun than anything else, because they really are. I mean, relatively.
Relatively, yes.
Yeah.
This
There are
past
things more
year,
fun than cars, but
this past year, you know this, and some of my viewers probably know this. I got into motorcycles a bit.
yes.
So I've always wanted my motorcycle license, and I've always been told, like growing up, it's dangerous, you can't do it, you're gonna get hurt, blah blah blah. And after last year, I found
Yeah.
out that you can be as safe as you want, and the world's still gonna try to kill you some way or another.
Oh yeah.
So YOLO, you only live once, enjoy your life. So I
Dude,
decided,
do what you love, man. Do
yeah,
what you love. There's not time's just gonna pass, dude.
yeah,
That's it. Time's gonna pass, and one day it's just not gonna pass anymore. You might as well do the stuff you love.
exactly. Or the stuff you want to do, don't have any regrets. So,
There, there's this song that it's by the Dirty Heads, and you're not a big like rock what do you call it, reggae fan, but it's by the Dirty Heads, and I can't remember the name of it. Shoot, but it talks about like just living your life and doing all the things you love, because we only have the one life to live, and it's fantastic. I'll send you a link to the song. It's just such a good song.
all
You'll
right,
like. I know you love country, but you'll like the song.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
please don't do that.
yeah. Please don't do that.
Yeah. So, anyways, so I was just like, yeah, okay, it's time. So I decided to go and do the motorcycle safety course, because I was like, will I actually enjoy it? I don't want to just go ahead and do it, right? So I got my M1, which is kind of really cheap to do. And
Yeah.
then I booked this course, and it was amazing. I flipped over the handlebars once, which scared the living daylights out of me, but it taught me what not
Holy
to do.
cow.
Yeah, I learned on a dirt bike the day before,
Okay.
and then I was like, I want to learn how to drive a cruiser, because that's going to be my kind of bike, right?
Sure.
So I'm like, okay, I hopped on this cruiser. Well, this thing was a little bit more sensitive than the dirt bike I was riding yesterday. So
Just
I
a little
gave
more
her,
responsive,
yeah,
or
just a little bit more responsive. The clutch was a bit better than the other thing I had. So
okay.
I started, and then I was like panicking because I started too fast. And
Oh no.
as my body's falling backwards, my arms are rolling. So I'm literally giving it more gas as I'm falling. So
Oh
then I start
wow.
panicking more, and I
Oh
freak out.
no.
I reach and I grab the handbrake really quick, which, if you
Uh-huh.
don't know, people watching, is your front brake on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
And all of my momentum went forward, causing my hand to roll. Thus, like no more throttle, all brake. My body flipped forward. I went over the handlebars and then kind of landed on them and then fell to the side. I'm like,
Oh
oh
no.
no, no, I don't want to ride this thing. Went back to the dirt bike, and I'm surprised it didn't scare me away from motorcycles like forever. Like, I was like, it was a mistake. I learned from it. I'm okay. Let's keep doing
That's
this.
good. That's good, dude. I
Yeah.
mean, at least it didn't like make you run. You
So
know?
yeah. So I mean, I had that experience, and it's something to laugh at now. But
Yeah, I mean,
I
we've motorcycles are not like the safest thing in the world, unfortunately, right?
and
So
they're not the safest, but
it's not the motorcycle that's not the safe part. It's the morons in the world that are not the
exactly.
safe part. So as
Ex-
long as you're being super cautious and very aware of what's going on around you, for the most part, you're gonna be fine.
I have
You really
never
are.
had my head more in a swivel while on the road than when I'm driving my motorcycle.
Oh, I bet.
I mean,
Absolutely.
when I'm in a car, I'm driving down a highway, and oh, there's 10 feet between me and this truck in this other lane that I'm about to
Yeah.
pass. No one's
Yeah.
going to try to cut in front of me because there's like no room. Well,
Sure.
when you got a little motorcycle and you got people like, oh, I'll fit. And they
Oh, I'll
literally are
fit.
2 or 3 feet away from your freaking bike. I mean, that happened to me once this summer. That scares you.
Yeah, I bet.
It's just like, learn to drive, people. You don't do that. If you don't do it with a car, don't do it with a motorcycle. It's way dangerous. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to go home dead because you were wanting to get to work 5 seconds faster.
Oh, I don't know why this village is getting raided.
Did you kill a raider and then walked into the village?
No, they're here. They're like all over the village,
Oh, weird.
and I'm getting arrows shot at me, and it's not a good time. Okay. Anyway, I'll put that in there. Okay. So your motorcycle antics. How often you go out?
Oh, not enough, man. I got the bike. I got my first bike. I started the training and everything a little bit later than I should have. So I got my first bike in April, May, probably late May, early June.
Okay.
And I had problems with it right away, so I had to get it fixed. And because I first started riding it, and I went on my first I was like, I'm gonna take it home. I'm gonna show my parents. Half an hour into my trip, it just died on me.
The bike did.
Yeah. So
Okay.
it was having a carburetor problem. I got it
Oh, okay.
fixed. Not a big deal. So I think I ride pretty much. I rode every weekend, but then there were some weekends where I was just busy and I didn't have time to ride it.
Right.
And
I mean, as people do.
yeah, and weeknights I'm just so drained after working 10-hour days. It's just like, well, do I really want to go take the bike out to drive around a city?
Right.
There's nothing fun about stop and go traffic on a motorcycle.
Oh no, not at all. I mean, and then aren't they mostly air cooled? So you got to keep moving for them to stay cooled, or no?
They are. I mean, I think mine was
You don't really have that kind of issue though, right?
not severely. No, I mean my first one was liquid, I believe, but I'm don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure, but my new one is an older bike, so it's air cooled.
Well, that's good.
Um,
So what do you have now? If you don't mind me
so
asking.
it is a 1986 Yamaha Virago.
So, okay.
Virago. So I wanted a larger CC bike
Okay.
that still wouldn't impact my insurance greatly. So I had a 500cc with
Okay.
it was a Kawasaki Vulcan, and it was fun. But once I actually got used to riding, it was just like, yeah, I could have a bit more gumption. But as a beginner rider, insurance for motorcycles is stupidly expensive.
Right.
So 750 cc's only raised my insurance by $10 a month. So I'm like, okay, that's good. It was a good deal. It was a friend of a friend. So I got this bike and it's been good.
That's good.
But I got it like a month ago and now it's 5 degrees outside and
Oh, it's too cold.
freezing cold to ride. And my next 3 weekends are booked. So I'm like, I had to winterize it. Like, I'm done. I have no choice now. I mean, I'm not going to enjoy riding it in the freezing cold. So I'm hoping next year I'll be able to ride a bit more. I mean, it's only really enjoyable when you can just get cruising.
Right.
After work around my area, the only highway near me, even the freaking city around me, is bumper to bumper traffic for like until 7 or 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night.
Is it really?
Yeah. So
So you guys are limited on like road space, I'm guessing up there.
yes,
Like we had up in Washington. So you have waterways and stuff like that in the way, and there's only so much getting around.
yeah. I mean, we're in the GTA is kind of like hugging the lake. So
Uh-huh.
we've got all lake, and then it's all city, which is pretty densely populated. So there's always traffic. You got city traffic lights, you got stop signs, and stopping and going on a motorcycle is boring. Just sucks. So I try to get out of the city, but to get out of the city, it's if I go on the highway to get out of the city to a nice riding highway, I'm a half an hour drive. If I go
Oh geez.
through traffic lights and stop and go traffic, it's 15 to 20 minutes of stop and go lights and stupid drivers in dense city driving just to get to a nice country road.
Oh wow.
So I haven't
It's just
had
not.
a lot of
You haven't
chances
had
to
the.
really ride it.
Got it. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, that's my new hobby this year that I picked up, which is kind of fun.
I mean, it sounds fun. Honestly, I mean, the so when I first started school, college specifically, I had a chunk of change, and the option was um, to either uh, buy a computer or buy a GSXR. That
Oh,
was my that was my goal. So
yep.
I wanted a GSXR. I really wanted a motorcycle, and yeah, I bought a computer.
Aw,
Which I'm glad I did because that's where my career was headed anyway at the
yeah,
time.
but
So I know.
motorcycle.
But motorcycle, like the
It's
idea of where I was going to park it, all that crap, I had no clue. None at all.
it's funny. I've never been the kind of guy. Like, I've always wanted to learn how to ride a motorcycle, and I always wanted a motorcycle, but I never
Yeah.
watched motorcycle videos. Now I'm
Okay.
watching motorcycle videos all the time. uh,
Oh man. Um, as far as other hobbies that don't require excessive amounts of money,
does that
because I
exist
mean, uh, it does it. That's a good
nowadays?
question. Do hobbies exist that don't cost you an exorbitant amount of money? I mean, we're talking about anything. Everything costs money anymore. It's like, okay, what do you want to do today? Well, how much money do you want to spend today?
Yeah, that's
Because
exactly it.
seriously, because there's not really much of an option. I mean, okay, we can go hiking. Sure, sure. That's a thing. Um, how often? You know,
Right.
is hiking fun?
I
I
mean,
don't know.
you can go to the dog park. Evan and I like to do the dog parks, but then you've done it
We,
once this weekend. So it's like, do you want to go
do you want to
again?
go again? Yeah, I guess that's what it boils down to is like, how often do you want to do these things that are free because there's so few of them, and then the things that you want to do like that have a like an actual good time or do a hobby, the amount of money it costs, especially these days,
Yeah.
everything costs money, right? I mean, you're talking about a lot of money too, in some cases that we talked about that already, and is it worth it? I don't know. Like snowboarding is becoming borderline unattainable. Like we're almost priced out. We're not super wealthy or anything, so we can't just afford the top shelf stuff every single time. And luckily we get the passes. We get these things called the Icon Pass, and Chauncey gets a break on it because she's a first responder. So we
Okay.
get a little discount on them, and so we get the passes are substantially cheaper as long as we go up at least 4 times for the year. It covers the cost of the pass,
Yep.
and then we try to go up, 6, 7, 10 times a year, so it ends up being worth it for us. Um, but like we used to have like years ago, we used to when we lived in a city called Rancho Cucamonga. It was about a 35-40 minute drive to to Disneyland, right?
Yep.
So we'd go to Disneyland every Friday, or as often as we could. Like I close up my shop because I had my screen print shop at the time. Close up the shop and we'd go to Disneyland for literally a ride and dinner. That was it. We'd come home. The kids would have a blast because they got to go to Disneyland on a Friday evening. And for whatever reason, Fridays used to be dead. Like
Really?
you could ride, yeah, yeah. I mean, every once in a while they were super busy, but Friday evenings were like dead. Like people went out and did other things
Right. Okay.
on
That kind of
Fridays,
makes
I
sense. Yeah.
guess. But now you can't. Now they're like stupid busy. Every day of the week is stupid busy. But even then, the passes were outrageous. For the four of us, to get passes that don't have any blackout dates were just ridiculous money. And now we're too far away. It takes us like 2 hours to get to Disneyland because of traffic, not because of distance.
Okay.
So we're like, it's not worth the passes for us anymore because we're not going to utilize them. We'd have to go for the passes. You'd have to go at least 5 times a year, which that's doable, but it's so far away. It's just really hard to
Doesn't
choke
make
that
sense.
down.
Yeah.
No, it really doesn't. So day passes are the way to go, at least for us.
Even day passes are stupid now.
Oh, I know. Even like one pass, a single pass is expensive, for, I think we're going to do it times 4. Plus you want the park hopper, plus food, and you got to buy a little, you got to get a lightsaber.
You gotta get the
Anytime you're all-
lifesaver.
You got to. So by the time you're all said and done, yeah, it's the most expensive day you've ever spent.
Yeah.
This Mesa biome is really impressive. I'm just kind of
You're
moseying
obsessed
through it.
with it.
Well, what was cool about that village was it was a pillager outpost. The entire village.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you have every second you turn a corner, there's another pillager that you have to kill. So like almost dying every 2 seconds. But yeah, it's I don't know where I was going with that.
Right. You had mentioned the cost of hobbies, right?
Oh yeah.
Well,
I
the
mean,
cost of hobbies also depends on like people can say, "Oh, they're not that expensive if you're going alone." I mean, you take your hobbies in there with 4 people.
yeah, exactly. So like most people that I know, even if like I was single, right? And like not married and whatnot. Well, at that time I'm making a lot less money, so that hobby is still expensive, even if just one individual.
Right.
Then you get married or you don't get married, you have just a partner or whatever. Okay, now it's times two. Oh, and then you have kids. Okay, now it's times three or four or five
Yep.
or more. So it just gets expensive, and that's like vacations are the same way. You know, you take a trip somewhere. It's like you got to take so much into account. Okay, you're gonna spend how much on food, and how much? Well, you need a bigger car now because you have so many people with you. If you're gonna rent a car, and that you got to take all that into account, and it just gets money on top of money on top of money, and it just becomes discouraging. And you almost are like, to hell with it. I don't want to go anymore.
Yeah, that's
But
the
you do want
biggest
to
thing.
go
You
because
want to go, it's just you can't afford to go.
yeah, it's like, do I become broke and in debt because I want to go somewhere?
Yeah.
Well, no, you don't want to, but you also don't want to sit in your house your entire life being miserable. You have to get out and do things. And whether that be going to Disneyland or going to the park, you got to go do things. Go drive to the beach or whatever. I guess that's free. We can go drive to the beach and do what? Hike around. Okay, cool.
I we are going to check out, or we're going to Evelyn's aunt and uncle's next weekend in
Oh, you're going to
Alberta.
another province. That's right.
Yes. And we are hoping it's a lot more cost friendly there, but even just plane tickets to go somewhere now. I mean,
Oh, I know.
we are grateful Evelyn's parents are getting us our plane tickets as a Christmas present
Oh, that's awesome.
because it's like it's about $500 to $600 a person sometimes to just travel a 3 hour flight.
Oh, I know. It's freaking nuts.
I mean, I was,
You're going so close in relative distance for a plane. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I was looking
But
up some things, and it was cheaper to fly to some countries in Europe than it was for me to go 3 provinces or 4 provinces over.
you know that it's funny that you say that because last year we're like planning an impromptu trip. We didn't end up taking it because of other reasons, but we were looking at going to New York because we've been planning on going back to New York for years.
Okay.
We love New York. New York is freaking awesome, right? So we want to go back to New York, but we realized that it's the same cost to fly to Europe.
Yeah.
Literally the same cost to fly to Dublin that it was to go to New York.
Add 2 or 3 thousand kilometers, and it's the same price.
That's insane. Explain that.
It
And
makes
no one can
no
because
sense.
it makes no sense.
The airlines just charge whatever the heck they want and get away with it.
Yeah, exactly. It's freaking nuts, dude. Absolutely nuts. But whatever. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Complain about it
All you
on
can
a
do is
show like
complain about
this?
it.
Complain about it on a show like this. Ooh,
All we can
nice.
do is get rich by becoming successful with our podcast.
We got to put it out in the universe. This is our day one of becoming successful at this podcast.
There we go.
Yes, everybody, share this with all your loved ones, so we can become successful, and you guys will be responsible for our success, and we appreciate every last one of you. Thank you so much.
And
works,
with
right?
that,
And with that, I think we're gonna wrap this up right about here.
it's a good place to wrap it up.
Huh?
I think it's a good place to wrap it up.
I think so too.
All right, guys, that is where we are going to end this one. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let us know some ideas for other podcasts you guys want to see down in the description, down in the comment section below. Thank you, T, for joining me with this conversation.
Absolutely. It was an absolute blast, dude. Can't wait for the next one.
Yes, I will look forward to next week's podcast. But yeah, guys, most importantly, please do not forget to have a lovely day. Bye, guys.
See ya.